That is right. We are live, episode 212, Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken. I did use the Music Town Detroit studio, but we are not live in Music Town. We are not live in Podcast Detroit. We are, in fact, live at our homes, as you guys can see on the screen itself. Hello and welcome. Want to go over a few notes before we kind of go to the panel, see what everyone's drinking, and go through everything. First, still gotipem.com, GOTIPEM.com is still up running, and if you are in the industry and need assistance, you can sign up, throw up your Venmo, Cash App, whatever. Don't forget to go to rallyforrestaurants.com if you want to try to figure out who is where you can go buy gift cards, or if you want to get curbside or delivery, head over to that website. It gives you basically where you are local. One of the big things is that once we are through and in the clear, we're going to be giving away $200 worth of gift cards to a bunch of breweries. That includes North Center Brewing, Arc Light, Saugatuck, Storm Cloud, and four others. We also gave out a gift card to the folks over at Dallas Beer Talk. Go check them out, as well as Tap That AZ over in Arizona. So go check out that podcast as well. One more thing before we start in regards to the Michigan Beer Box. MI Beer Box has folded. I do apologize to all the fans who were getting that swag each and every month. It is a somber decision we had to make, but one we had to just because of the climate that we're in. Who knows if we will come back? We might not. It is just, who knows what's going to happen over the next few months. But what's happening right now is that I've got some great friends, some people that I love to talk to. So we're going to kind of go around based on what I see. So Rob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Just kind of sitting here, social distancing myself from, pretty much you guys and everybody else in this house.
Well, as we always start, what are you drinking?
Right now, I am drinking because I made a quick run while I was out today and stopped off at the Ferndale Project and, helping to support those guys. And they've got an old ale that's on right now, which is called Some More. And so that is what I am drinking right now. And I'm probably up next will be the table beer, which I'll be hitting that one pretty soon. But this Some More is pretty damn potent.
Well, I actually have, I've got from Bell's, I got Bright White, and as I was kind of showing you guys during before we kind of went live, my entire top is gone. I used this interesting draft top remover that allowed me to remove the top of it. Very interesting, very hard to do. I did warp the shit out of the can, but I was able to do it for the first time, so I think I need to look at a few other videos to make sure I'm doing it correctly. But on my screen to my right, Wendy, what's going on?
And I'm still with the unmute.
Yes, the mute. How are you? What are you drinking? And how has your week been?
My week has been pretty hellish, I'm sure, as most of ours has been. I'm drinking Reclassified from Ascension. It's one of the last of my, the last pickup that we did. So I'm savoring it because I don't know when I'm going to get back there to get more.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Glad you were able to do this live. How's the AC business? Still getting people AC and air?
We are. It slowed down a little bit, but it's starting to pick back up again. So I'm still going into work.
Whoa.
So this is actually one of the first times that I've been home where it's actually just me and Graham here. So it's interesting.
And is she drinking something with us too?
She is not. She is watching TV in the other room.
All right, Dan.
It would be fun if I could get her to do that, though.
Dan, all the way in Arizona.
Hey, what's going on?
Tell us what the
weather's
weather's
like. It's been 6
like.
weeks, man. Oh, it's chilly today. It's about 70, kind of windy.
I hate you sometimes.
Yeah, it's going to be 90 on Wednesday. So
70 is chilly.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if I want.
Ooh, bro.
I don't know if I
Sorry.
want. I want like 90, so I think I'll be okay with it. What are you drinking over there? What barrel aged beer did you get for $3?
I see some
What'd you see?
Bottle Logic over there.
Yeah, I got some Bottle Logic Red Star November 2019. They're out of Anaheim. I don't think you can get them in Michigan. It's a cool 14.09%.
No,
Also
that is a tough one to get out here.
Yeah, that one's tough. I'll have to bring some out next time. We got a BRI Morning Sex Coffee Milk Stout as well. About to crack that open.
Interesting beer name.
Very much, but pretty good. It's one of my favorite beers out here. I think I'll crack that right now. But good to have.
All right, and finally, Nicholas.
I'm back.
How are you?
Doing good.
How's the power infrastructure of the world?
I would have to say we are doing pretty well. I'm on my second. I just finished week number 2, work from home, and we're doing the best we can with all things considered. Everyone's working from home right now, with the exception of all of our brave linemen, all of our underground linemen. So if you see them, give them some kudos, because those guys, they put their lives at risk all the time with electricity. Now they got to put their lives at risk with this crappy pandemic going on right now.
I kind of feel like I want to leave beer out for the essential workers, like the garbage men, the postman. Just be like, here you go. I know you're essential. I appreciate everything you're doing. Here's a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even the drive-through workers, I'm like, you know what? You guys are, staying open to keep us fed and all that, But yeah, no, it's going well. I'm going good. It's day at a time, bro.
All right. Well, before we kind of get into today's topics, because
Ken, really quickly though.
I'm all right.
Really quickly, I know this is bumming you guys out. I know how much you guys wanted to have this beer, but since we probably won't be seeing each other for a while, at least face to face, I'm gonna do the dirty work for you guys. So as I promised,
Four Loko.
No.
Wait.
No.
Hop
there
Slam.
it is.
Oh, is this the super old one?
This is 3 years.
Oh.
3 years.
What are you
Hop
doing?
Slam.
Does it taste like lighter fluid?
I'm about to tell you because I have not had a sip yet. So
while you're doing that, Dan, you just saw Hop Slam for $6 a 6-pack out there.
Yeah, he got 400 6-packs at the beer store I go to, and they're selling for $5.99 a 6-pack.
Nick gave the worst beer face ever, to never do that.
Yeah, don't drink that, Nick.
It's bad.
Pour it on the floor. Just don't even bother.
I'm just gonna leave it right here on my coaster over here. I'm not gonna touch that again. That was a mistake.
All right. Well, we went through and we discussed everything. One of the big things, and I kind of saw this, and Wendy wanted to talk about it, so we will talk about it first. And that's breweries that are doing a bunch of other things. And obviously, the big thing we want to do while they're doing that is to support them. How you guys can support them is to buy gift cards, takeout, delivery, buy directly from them. I know a lot of states that are out there that are being really, really lax about liquor laws, as long as you're not being stupid. Dan, what are they doing out there in Arizona before we get into Wendy's topic? Are they
same thing you're seeing out there? Everyone's set up delivery. You can go in. Everyone's still open to go get carry-out orders. We don't have many that are also distilleries, but I know Oso is one of the ones that are making hand sanitizer now. So pretty much the same thing you're seeing out there. I don't know if you have yet. We've had a couple of breweries go down already, as in out of business since this has happened. So I expect we're going to start seeing more as this goes on.
I'll redirect to Rob and Wendy and maybe Nick. I haven't seen any say that they're folding, that they're not intending on reopening their doors. I know that Drafting Table is celebrating their anniversary during this time frame.
Oh boy.
And I know we're hoping that a lot of people are doing things like maybe lagering beers and using this extra time to be able to do anything. It's a weird thing that nobody knows what's going to happen, how long it's going to take, and what's going to happen when we get out of it. Dan was talking about layoffs prior to our conversation. Wendy, myself, we're all we're seeing it within our companies and not just the restaurant industry, as much as we talk about the restaurant industry. But Wendy, what have you seen for a lot of these breweries and distilleries that have switched focus?
Well, I looked it up the other day because somebody had made a comment. I think it was somebody from Kunin's that I was talking to about how they had to stop what they were doing because they were making hand sanitizer. And as a company that is sending our guys into people's homes right now to try and fix their furnaces and their units like that, we need to find places to get these things because safety supplies are basically unavailable. So I just thought it was really cool that a lot of our breweries and distilleries in the area have started making hand sanitizer and are giving those out. I believe Consumers Energy actually got some. I'm not sure where they got it from, but somebody made it for them and they were able to supply it to some of their appliance plan workers that are going into people's homes. I have a list of places that I was able to find that are doing it.
Yeah.
If I can plug them, because I think it's really important that, yes, we're all going out and we're trying to buy from our local breweries and stuff, but they're not selling stuff right now. They're actually making hand sanitizers and stuff for people that can't get it. So my list is Griffin Claw, Coonins, Flakes, 2 James out of Corktown. They actually gave some out to people in the city, which I thought was really cool. Atwater, Detroit City Distillery, and Wolverine right now are the ones that I were able to find that they've promoted. They've done this.
Yeah, big shout out to them.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything that they're doing, helping everyone. Like there's only so much that we can do as a media organization other than buy gift cards for people to give out after everything is done.
Right.
One of the things that somebody mentioned too that I want to make sure is that when you buy a gift card from a brewery, distillery, restaurant, whatever, don't use it right away. Wait for a minute. Use it when everything's
Use it same day.
Yeah, use it.
Yeah.
Use it. I mean, when you're doing it the same day, you're still supporting the company because you're obviously using the gift card. But if you have a gift card for a business, don't go and use it right now. That's one of the big things. I had a friend that did not he had to be explained it, which is fine because he just didn't think about it because he's like, oh, I'm going to support them by using my gift card. I'm like, oh no, they already have your money. Let them keep your money because they need your money to fill it. And we'll mention that there are a lot of places that are talking about what the stimulus package will do for these businesses, both small businesses, both unemployment insurance. So a lot of these things you can look through because we're not a political podcast. But again, these are things that we want to make sure that people are aware of going forward. So one big shout out that I want to give, especially for the hand sanitizer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Detroit Bus Company. So
Yes.
not the smart bus, but a guy that I actually met, and I think I met through just random people through either Quizzo or through Podcast Detroit. But the guy's name is Andy Diderossi, and he runs the Detroit Bus Company. And what they did is literally switch gears and have started making hand sanitizer in bulk to the point where he's asking for truckloads of isopropyl and whatever other ingredients that are in hand sanitizer. People are donating it, helping out, making sure that they can, it can get made and delivered to people. So big shout out to him. He does things like pub crawls, bar crawls, brewery crawls, historic tours throughout Detroit. So definitely a great thing, especially if you like the Detroit history, because we have a lot of alcohol history with Prohibition and rum running. Dan remembers that when we had Prohibition here in the United States.
I was there.
You were there, yeah. Rob wasn't old enough yet to drink, so he didn't necessarily.
Come on now.
And so it begins.
Yep, that it does.
Now, Wendy did
Bingo
mention.
square.
Wendy did mention Blake's, so we'll go over real quick March Draftness 2020. We had our Elite 8 finish this afternoon. And
Oh boy.
boy, did it do some stuff. So we'll go over Baffin over One Well, and Oddside over Mitten Brewing, so that is Baffin over against Oddside. And then we had Copper Hop and Austin Brothers Beer Company. I think we
Upset alert.
we got to figure out something for sure for Austin Beer Brothers. Obviously, the folks over in St. Clair Shores have been pushing hard for Copper Hop and Baffin, but Copper Hop doubled up Baffin's vote total
Are
because
you kidding me?
there was over 4,000 votes. This post was shared over 800 times. I'm sure everyone and their friends who are fans of Copper Hop are really upset at those people. So
Are they on opposite sides? So there could be a possibly a St. Clair Shore final.
yep, it could be a St. Clair Shore only final.
Oh boy.
So obviously there's the West Michigan has Oddside, St. Clair Shores has 2 breweries, and then coming in from Armada, defeating the 2019 champion brewery 424 is Blake's Brewing.
Oh my goodness.
So real
Yeah.
quick, I mentioned it on the Facebook page. We learned a lot about the employees over at Blake's Brewing, including the fact that one of them is from the Philippines and
Worldwide, man.
and actually worked in the Philippines while they were a marketing director and I think like artist marketing type person. So yeah, she shared it with her family. Her family shared it, and they got a lot of votes. So one of the things we talked about, and a lot of us talked about here on our internal chat, is that we have no rules about where you can vote from. So a vote from the Philippines just means as much as a vote from, say, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Well, I use North Carolina because if you looked at the sharing of posts, like there are people from other states that were sharing, vote for this person, vote for this person, vote for this person. So it didn't, I used North Carolina because that was the one that stuck out the most because it was on the Brewery 424 side. Now, I already talked to Dave, the owner of Brewery 424, and again, it looked shady until context, and once context came through, everything looks fine. So we got Blake's versus Copper Hop, Baffin versus Oddside, and we're gonna have to figure out something for next year if this is going to be a huge thing. But again, Jamex didn't make it too far out, so Jamex didn't even make it out of the first round. So I don't know if now they're teaming up or everyone from Jamex chose sides for their second brewery and kind of helped stack Baffin and Copper Hop. But again, voting will start tomorrow. That is 3:28 at noon, last for 6 days until Friday at noon. And then we'll have the finals. And going through if you looked at the predictions on our challenge page, which you can go to challenge, challonge.com/March Draftness 2020.
Les Challenge.
You can actually see that there are some people, like right now, the person who had the best bracket actually has 3 out of the 4 finalists, and that's Baffin, Copper Hop, Oddside, and Snowbelt. Snowbelt didn't make it.
Snowbelt.
Yeah, they didn't make it. That was a very interesting pick. But we've mentioned it for the last few weeks, but IPAs is number 2, and they have the most picks, correct picks, I should say. But sadly, they had Brewery 424 and Austin Brothers Beer Company in their bracket. So the finals, they had Austin Beer versus Baffin, and I think they had Baffin winning. So it'll be a very interesting end, to say the least. The winner gets a $100 gift card to one of the 64 breweries that that participated in this year's March Draftness. We hope next year we can get up to 128. Maybe we can sneak in some other meaderies, cideries, breweries, maybe even a winery or two. With that, wow, that was a lot to talk about. In our chat, we got a lot of people, Strikeout Beer, saying hi. Matthew Kirakov says, cheers to our local business. Bill Carney, our map writer, saying Sanctuary Spirits and Grand Ledge is making sanitizer, as well as he thinks Lansing Brewing Company. So thank you for that information.
And Wendy, I thought with Wolverine, I thought that they had donated beer to be used for sanitizer. I wasn't sure. I didn't know they were actually making it. So I thought they had said that they had donated something like 600 gallons of beer to.
The article that I read showed that they were making it, but I could be mistaken.
Huh.
Either way, I mean they're doing their part as far as I'm
Oh
concerned.
yeah, definitely they're doing their part, and I try not to be very vocal about another particular brewery that is in the Detroit area, and I have now started calling them Charlotte Street Brewing.
Wow, I saw you mention that earlier.
And so I'm a bit disappointed with Charlotte Street, and now granted, I'm glad they're still paying their employees, but in one of those things where they came out and said that they were going to do things for the community, I don't really see them doing anything for the community. And I mean, obviously, like I said, they're paying their workers, which is awesome. And in a time where we have all these breweries where they're fighting and struggling to make money and keep their employees, that's awesome. I guess I just want to see more. Maybe I just have higher expectations for them, considering what's happened in the past. But I guess from them, I expect to see more.
Greg Felter asks, beer as sanitizer. I don't know the science to it, but whether it gets made as sanitizer or it goes to people making sanitizer, I
Yeah,
think it's
exactly.
a good topic. Now, here's something that I do want to discuss because I want to get your guys' opinions on it. Brewbound mentioned earlier this week that they are running out, and I mean, the entire world is running out of crowler cans. We are
Oh boy.
seeing a crowler shortage due to the coronavirus. People looking for pre-filled cans prior to it leaving the room, as opposed to reusing glassware because of the spread of coronavirus. Now, I went to Eastern Market Brewing, who does not do growler fills; they only do cans. Um,
Still
so
better.
yeah, a little bit. They wouldn't fill the beer for me, but I did go to Original Gravity and I did buy glassware from there over in Milan, and I am very, very happy with that. But what are your guys' feelings about, I feel like breweries have some of the most sanitized workspaces out there. I have gone to so many restaurants in my life that I don't want to tell you the good and the bad that I have seen. But when it comes to a brewery, usually a brewery is very on par with everything that's going on. Like, they know not only is their system really clean, but I think everything that they do is very clean and understand clean ware. Um, but are you guys taking growlers to get filled? Are you now worried because I mentioned it? Like, I want to hear your guys' opinion.
I mean, pretty much. I take the glassware. I mean, and like you said, with the breweries, I mean, anybody who's been on a tour, I think, has pretty much heard that 90% of brewing is cleaning,
Mhm.
and that's all they do is that they clean and then they brew and sit and then clean. And when they're serving you beer, they're cleaning a glass that probably was already clean before, and they clean it again and run it through Star San and whatever other sanitizer that they have. When I take glassware to, say, like Holiday Market, or to really like, or Urban Rest, to get kombucha or something like that, that I've already got Star San already in it to sanitize it, and then they dump it out and they sanitize it again. So I mean, they do the jobs, and they know that it's all about cleanliness, because without the cleanliness, you have the potential of losing the optimum flavor of the liquid that you're purchasing.
Yeah, in fact, let me bring this up too. I didn't even think about this till you mentioned it. None of the breweries out here will let you fill your own growler right now. You have to buy a growler from them in order to fill it up. You can't bring one in like off the street. Like, I have a few here from Michigan. Like, if I try to bring my Dragon Mead one, they'll be like, nope, you got to buy a new one. Until this is over, they're not filling any of them.
I mean,
I think most of them around here are doing that too.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, at
Yep.
first you were able to, but now most of them aren't even letting you in the building. They're all doing curbside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there
You
was Eastern Market Brewing. There was like a table that blocked you from coming in right after the door. Like, you walked in, turned, and you were blocked from coming in. I'm trying to think of any other breweries that I went to, but I've been very, very good at the social distancing, and not leaving the apartment, or the apartment. Wow, I lived in an apartment for a long time.
You
The
did?
house.
You're in
Whoa,
a house
dude.
now.
This was pretty much my entire apartment. This one room. No, it was never that small. But thanks, Nick.
You're welcome, man.
With like that, I mean, it makes sense to go new cleanware, or new glassware, I should say. Just don't fight it. If you're going out there and buying a growler, just buy it. And then if you have too many, I promise you, people want glassware when you're
Yep.
out of everything. And secondly, if they don't, you can recycle it. It's the great thing about the United States is we recycle. No, you're not going to get your 10 cents, but again, a lot of you guys saw how many growlers I used to have. I was in the 85 to 90 territory at one point, and now I'm down to 3 because I gave
That's what
out.
I have.
I asked who, like, I labeled everything that I had. I said, these are all the growlers that I have. If you want any, claim the brewery or whatever. And some of them claimed some dead breweries that um, just didn't exist anymore that they wanted the growler from, and then the rest just got donated. That's all you had to do.
So what about the crowler shortage you're talking about? Have you guys seen that yet?
I haven't seen it personally. I know we have a lot of places that do cans as opposed to crawlers. So Eastern Market does 16 ounces. I know a lot of places do 12 ounces. So I'm hoping that, because I mean, when we buy stuff to go, we don't want to buy 430, 4 12-ounce cans. We want to buy a crawler or a growler and get the hell out.
I
Yeah.
think Holiday Market was the only one that I know in the area that does it.
Does
At least that I can
crawlers?
think of, that does crowlers.
See, I live right by a store that I go to regularly that does crawlers. They have 81 taps because they have a bar too. And
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. And I watched him carry two boxes full of crawlers, probably 24 of them per box, full out to the car for someone. So I'm sure, and there were people lined up waiting to get them while we were there. So it might be a thing that I didn't think about until you brought this up.
It's gonna be worse than toilet paper. What the
It
heck?
might be. That's an even worse situation than toilet paper. I can't get my
Jeez.
beer. Wait for the riots then.
I
Oh my
got
goodness.
a chance to go to, because a lot of beer stores are starting to close up. We know 8 Degrees over in Detroit closed down their doors for the time being, which is just,
Oh, they did?
yeah, they did.
Wow.
A lot of liquor stores are doing the best. I tried interrupting a conversation and got too close, and they told me, hey, 6 feet. Stay away. And I'm like, all right, no problem. So one of my new liquor stores, because I have a beer store that's close by, but I needed liquor too. So I had to go to a specific store, and I think it was in Saline, and wound up, buying $200 worth of liquor, and was happy with the selection that they had for sure. But it was very interesting to talk, and I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this conversation that I had. He talked about how much of a Budweiser store they are. They sell a shit ton of Budweiser, and he's talking about one of the top selling Budweiser accounts of that area. So what happens when you sell a lot of Budweiser? You can get special beers from Budweiser, like Bourbon County. And I was talking to him about the fact that another store that was local over here was trying to charge me $20 for a 2019 Bourbon County. And he's like, we just don't want to bother with it because they're only going to give us 6 to 12 bottles and we're not going to sell them, or the staff are going to want them, and it's just, why bother? It's been, I feels like it's been so long since I've chased a beer, but what is your guys's thoughts on a beer store literally just turning down hot beers like that?
That's kind of weird. I've never actually heard of that before.
Why would you turn away hot sales? That's what
Yeah.
I would say. You know it's gonna go. You know it's gonna go fast. You know there's gonna be a lot of demand for it. So even if you can't get that much, you can, turn it around rather quick, make a quick buck.
But here's the backlash that you're going to face if you post that you have. Now, these guys don't have a social media presence, so I wasn't even able to see if they posted they were open or not. But what happens if they don't have it? People are just going to come in, oh, you don't have it? Bye. Dealing with that for the 6 to 8 bottle, because they're not selling Goose Island. They're not getting they're not getting a whole case or anything like that. They're getting their allowance based solely on their Anheuser-Busch products as a whole.
Well, if they don't normally sell that kind of beer, I could understand them not wanting it because it's not something that they're going to sell. They might not sell it. Maybe that's not what their market is.
I agree, but in the same sense, the amount of beers that I bought from there, the different, I got this one goes to 11 from there. I got I'm trying to think of what else is in my cooler. I'm just gonna pull another random oh no, I did not get that one. I got a Weyerbacher Sunday Mole Stout that I was gonna crack open for tonight's
Pull that Four
episode.
Loco out of there right now.
No Four Loco.
The green one
no.
for Rob.
The Winter Warmer, Songs of the Open Road, another Bell's beer. There's plenty of beers out there that they sold, but it wasn't a craft-y selection, aka a little bit of Bell's, a little bit of Founders, a little bit of Newcastle and Guinness, and that's it.
But I think kind of Newcastle, one of Dad's favorites, right next to Trooper.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess what I'm thinking of is in terms of when those hot beers come out, if they're the type of store that doesn't have that social media presence, I kind of feel like they're going to get it may be like one of those stores that doesn't know exactly how much to price it at, and maybe they're just pricing it way too high, or well, obviously if it's priced too low, it's going to go. But like if you run into a BCBS that's selling for $20 or $25 and say it's like the barley wine type, and somebody gets pissed off and goes on to the Facebook groups and say, oh, this dickhead over here, he's selling this for $20 more than markup, and there's no way for that store to defend themselves, and nobody's going out there to buy that or even think about going to that store, because now all of a sudden this negative attention is coming to the store for selling something that's too pricey.
Well, when you're in Saline, because we're near Rawsonville over here, we have a lot of what I like to call UAW liquor stores. And I think Dan might understand what I'm saying, but I'll explain it real quick. They specialize in two-shot shooters and tall boys.
Oh yeah.
That is what a UAW liquor store is that they serve lunch, and usually it's good food too. Like a pizza, a chicken, potato wedges, that kind of place. And then they sell small form or large form beers, small form shooters to have during your break or, your lunch. Or...
Oh yeah, Hamtramck used to be full of them before all that kind of got bought out.
Oh, for sure. So that was the first place that I went to on my journey today. Looking for beer. I was like one of those people that went to 8 Walmarts looking for toilet paper. I was looking for like a one-stop shop for all my beers. And yeah, it was definitely a very interesting, to say the least. So I appreciate that. Somebody in the chat was mentioning that they have their liquor store is now drive-through, where they usually went to do like a build your own 6-pack. And from that build your own 6-pack, they just said, like, here's a handful of breweries I like. I like IPAs, surprise me, and just built them a 6-pack out of it. So I think, Dan, you have drive-thrus down there, don't you?
We do have drive-through liquor stores, quite a few. I actually wanted to bring this up. We unfortunately didn't go there when you were out here, but a brewery was built into an old firehouse over by the airport here years ago. They're still open, and they turned their dining room, because they're a restaurant too, they took all the chairs out and they made it into a drive-through brewery now. So you pull up through the back, you get whatever you want, and you drive out through the front, through the doors where you used to have the fire truck. So we now have a drive-through brewery as of 2 weeks ago.
Wait, this is by PHX?
Yeah, it's called Walter Station Brewery. They just set this up when all this crazy stuff went into effect about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. Next time I go visit my dad, I'm stopping there first.
You can walk from the airport. So if you took the train that goes to, from the airport to the light rail, you can walk there from it. It's only half a block away.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on it.
All right. We still have people coming in from chat, so we appreciate you going. Facebook.com/BetterOnDraft. We are live every Friday night, 7 p.m. Join us in the chat. JJ Brandt is saying he's drinking Lucky 13 from Rapport, so I'm assuming he got it from Rapport. I don't know what brewery that is. Maybe it's a beer that they got that was specific for Rapport, which is out in Ann Arbor. But I guess this question would be more geared towards Rob. What would you say the Ferndale Project specialty beer is? What is their go-to beer? So maybe specialty style. What is their go-to style and their go-to beer?
I'm the resident Ferndale Project expert, I guess.
I do get a total of 0 times. Nick, have you been there? Nick, you got to unmute yourself. You gotta,
I know. I'm not allowed to buy beer anymore. Really quickly, not to sidetrack before Rob answers the question. The reason why I'm not is because we're actually moving in the next couple of days. In the midst of a national health crisis, we're actually moving out of this house.
So no beer for you.
I got tons of beer. I can show you what else I have here.
Just no more beer.
I just don't want to buy any more beer. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, look.
All right.
Nice.
I'm good in that department. So sorry, Rob. Continue.
That would be why it sounds like you're talking from the bathroom. I get it now.
How would you, man?
I can't make short jokes because they make old jokes. So what else am I going to do?
Yeah, don't let him do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Matt.
So pretty much with Ferndale Project, I would say the styles that they have been working on the most have been their sours. They have quite a few that are going on between lemon meringue to their raspberry goza. There's quite, I think right now they've probably got something like 5 or 6 sours that are on. They've been doing a couple other experimental things that they haven't been able to do at Eastern Market because they're just so busy trying to keep everything up at Eastern Market. But they've got a phenomenology, which is a coconut imperial stout that I think is really good. And just a couple other beers that they've been throwing on between, like I said, the stouts. There's the sours. They've got some new New England IPAs that are on. I believe Salad Days, Seeing Green, and Fledge are 3 of them. And Fledge, I think, is the lightest of the 3.
So what's this? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that it's just kind of, it's like one of the lightest New England IPAs that they've had, which is really good too.
So I want to know about this Salad Days. What does this taste like?
Salad Days it's it's just kind of, I think with the
You can't talk about it without laughing.
I think just because the name.
While you guys are laughing, I just typed in Salad Days Untapped, and there are a lot of breweries who brew Salad Days.
Who's using this name? That's
Wait,
terrible.
I gotta look now.
Here's my kale beer or whatever the hell it is.
Southern Prohibition Brewing.
So with their description is New England IPA double dry hopped with Eldorado, Citra, and Amarillo hops, pillowy, soft, and juicy with subdued bitterness, while citric and tropical. And
okay.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's you look at the picture, it's pretty damn hazy, but it doesn't come off as strong as the likes of like Boss Tweed or, I mean, sometimes even like Flavorful 5 from Rogue, because those to me are like a bit more sharp. But I mean, it's for the ones that they have. I mean, they've been coming out with a lot of variety for their New England IPAs, and every one that they've come out has a distinct different taste to it that's just pretty damn good.
Yeah, I drink it for its pillowy softness myself, but
pillowy softness.
Yeah. Before we go take a break. For those of you who are just joining for the first time, we take a break that's about 8 to 10 minutes long just to refill our beers. It might be a little bit shorter. We will mention it in the video so you'll know exactly what time we are taking a break. We will get to the chat, people talking about it, but I want to try one little fun thing right now because our folks at former Constellation, now some random entrepreneur...
Kings and Convicts?
Yeah, Kings
Is that
and
what
Convicts.
we're talking about?
We've got the... Ballast Point, and they're actually going to bring back a beer, I believe, is what this competition is. So between the 5 of us, we are going to make the deciding vote. I will actually make the vote for anyone that is a tie. So we're going to go real quick. You have 2 options. We'll start with Dan. We'll go Dan, Wendy. Excuse me, not Dan. Rob, Wendy, Dan, Nick. And I'll be the deciding factor. Your first up is Habanero Sculpin versus Calico, which is their California Amber. Rob, what would you want?
Habanero.
Wendy?
Calico.
Dan?
Oh, Habanero.
Nick?
Habanero.
All right, Habanero goes through. You do not need me. Next up, we have Even Keel, which is their Session IPA, versus Fathom, which is their IPL. Rob?
Even Keel.
Wendy?
Even Keel.
Dan?
Oh, the IPL.
Fathom. Nick?
IPL.
Well,
Ooh.
shit. I'm going to go with the IPL because, yeah.
Oh, we know why.
Jeez.
So this is going to be a good one right here. Commodore, which is their American Stout, versus Calm Before the Storm, which is their cream ale. Coffee cream ale. Rob?
Yeah, Commodore.
Wendy?
Calm Before the Storm.
Dan?
Commodore.
Nick?
Commodore.
All right, Commodore goes through. And finally, and I wanted to do this because this one beer is in it.
Do not tell me that watermelon Dorado is in
Oh
there.
no.
Pineapple Sculpin versus watermelon Dorado. The watermelon Dorado is their double IPA. Pineapple Sculpin's just their IPA, and it's pineapple.
No.
Rob, can I? What would you like?
Not watermelon Dorado.
All right, pineapple
Anything.
Sculpin. Wendy,
I'm gonna go with the pineapple sculpin too.
Dan,
Oh, if I have to pick, pineapple sculpin.
and let's just go with Nick.
Pineapple, man. Pineapple.
All right, guys, that is going to do it. I'm going to have all of you put yourselves on mute, and we will be right back with the Better on Draft podcast. And we are back. Better on Draft 212, the very remote episode. Rob throwing up the 212 for sure. That's half of 424. Ooh, too soon?
Oh.
Hey, check this beer out all the way out in Arizona.
Old Saint. Oh, I did leave you with that, didn't I?
You did.
All right. Well, I am actually going to be opening up some Dragon's Milk White. What are you guys' second rounds?
Hey,
Anything
there
special?
we go.
Hey, me and Nick
hey,
were.
Nick, thanks for joining us. What's going on, man?
Oh, hey, right, yeah. I was able to figure out how to unmute it for the right
Thank
on.
you for
Right
not
from the
calling
get-go.
it a scout.
So we're gonna try while we bring up a few of the topics that were talked about in the chat. Aaron Everett from I believe Arizona is saying Oso Brewing in Arizona has been making a hand sanitizer dubbed Oso Clean and delivering
That
to
is-
hospitals.
Love you too, Aaron. That is my sister.
Oh, nice.
Patrick Caddy is saying I think Fathom IPA is one of the most underrated Ballast Point beers. Bill Carney, our map writer, is drinking some Mackin triple XXX stout. Is that 9
What up, OG,
X's?
triple OG.
Is that if it's
Little
triple
9X
three
stout.
X's? Is that a 9X stout? But he said he got it from Zatuna over at Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester Road. Definitely go check them out. And again, if you guys are looking for some beer to go, you can always go to North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, and go say hello to Kevin, Cody, give them a little elbow bump, and you know.
Stay
Get
6
your
feet
beer.
away.
Stay 6 feet away for sure. So I'm gonna try to do this live on camera.
I'm scared.
So while I do this, Gregory Feltner in the chat is asking, what will be the first brewery to name a beer social distancing? And I guess I'll add a follow-up. What kind of beer will it be?
I mean, just specifically with social distancing, or just referring, well, as I'm now referring to it as the Rona.
The Rona?
Oh boy.
My Rona?
My, no.
It's
Good
all
Lord.
my Corona. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I mean, I believe somebody had already named a beer like a COVID-19 stout of some sort.
I hope not.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
I'm sure they have, but it's just now's not the time. I would say.
Well, now's not the
That's the
time, but
perfect
it's
time.
it's what's going to happen after we come out
That
of
was
it.
exactly the time.
I mean, that's the
I'm
thing,
pretty
is
sure
if-
that I've seen something about it too.
I mean, that's the thing, is that even with, being a trivia host, which obviously we're not doing that right now because of the bars being shut down. The thing about trivia teams and them making their names is that their names are always very topical with what's going on at
Oh,
the
for
moment.
sure.
And so for someone to, like, if we were hosting trivia right now, it would not surprise me that somebody would, come up with a name that that refers to the social distancing or the coronavirus. So for somebody to do that in the beer world, I mean, maybe just to get attention, then it's going to happen.
I don't
I
know
mean,
if
you
you
got
guys are
breweries out
watching my
here-
screen, by the way. It's like
Oh,
impossible.
I'm seeing this. But I mean, breweries are already doing things that are, trying to do things to be, topical and get in the news. I mean, we've had breweries last year that were brewing IPAs with breakfast cereals. There's one that made a
Well,
beer.
hold on. I'm gonna fully interrupt because you're missing the low-hanging fruit right here, and that is very stable genius out of Axel Brewing.
Yes.
R.I.P. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. It's I don't know what brewery it's from, but it is called COVID-19 Collab Coffee Stout.
Collab. So
Find
there's
some
two
of this.
people.
Ken, so I got to tell you, you're working really hard to open this beer with that thing, and that beer sucks. So just letting you know right
Not
now.
a stout for one, and two.
It
This
says
is
it's
not
a.
good sales pitch. I hope we're not trying to sell that.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
you're
aren't.
not getting paid on those.
We are not getting paid on these, or I probably would have practiced a lot more.
Yeah, how many times have you used that before the show, Ken?
So I tried on some empty cans earlier, just to obviously try it, and then
So it didn't even dent the can. You just cracked it.
well,
and-
I dent it, as you can see on this, like there. Looks like my like grandma or something with the amount of like veins that are coming out of it with the.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it did not work there.
Vascular.
I didn't want to say that.
Oh,
This is a
God.
PG show here.
Now when I show up,
I'm
John
pretty sure we
Rusinski.
would not get the PG rating with the amount of F-bombs that get dropped every now and then.
I mean, we only are allowed one to get the PG rating, but to be honest, it didn't matter if we were the cleanest show ever. We still get like, because we're an alcohol-based show, like we can't sell like do under 21 anywhere, so why bother? In the chat, John Rusinski says North Center is good people. John, of course they are good people. So are the people over at Dearborn Brewing, which is where you own, you work. Hopefully you are doing great stuff over there. Go check it out. Say hi to John. So this is this technically not a stout? Is that what
no,
you're saying?
and it's terrible. Take a drink.
It's
Dan, you
terrible.
don't like-
Take a drink. It's not that bad.
Dan, you don't like it?
No, I thought it was horrible. I didn't think it tasted like anything.
It tastes like a milk stout. Like
No,
a
it
really
Wendy's
sweet
says
milk
does
stout.
not. It does not. My dad really likes it. He thinks it's really good. I call it coffee ale.
That's probably a better way to put it. It's a coffee ale. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Good. Otherwise, I wouldn't be
As a
drinking.
stout lover, I'm like, please stop calling them white stouts.
Yeah,
Not
it's
a-
stupid. I hate that too. It's such a dumb fad.
And now what sucks is that my hand's really sticky from trying to open it up with that draft top thing. Because of all the fucking beer that got on it. So thanks, draft top.
Well, I guess, and that's a question. I don't know if anybody really knows this, but I mean, as far as when Dragon's Milk calls that a white stout, and then Eastern Market does that as well, where they have the white coffee stout. Considering the fact that I guess by color standards, it's definitely not dark enough to be a stout. So,
Well, I mean, in the
I call
BJCP
it
world,
that.
obviously it's not, but it kind of depends. So it just says stout white on Untapped.
Yeah,
I mean-
so they
chocolate.
started making these white stouts, but it's really a coffee ale.
Yeah,
It
they're
doesn't
using chocolate to get
Feel
that
like a
flavor
stout
too.
or taste like a stout. It
Mm-mm.
tastes like a coffee ale.
All right, so here we go. According to whatever website, the white stout is brewed with cold steeped coffee, cocoa nibs, and vanilla beans. It uses high protein wheat and oats to give the beer its full body feel. The result is a creamy and slightly sweet beer with strong malt backbone. Close your eyes, and one might call it a cream ale or vanilla porter.
Oh Lord. So who's
I
asking
stout.
for these? Who's asking for this crap? Because no one I
Kathy,
know is
we're looking
asking
at
for
you.
a stout that's like looks
Yeah,
like PBR.
me and Nick are totally not drinking this right now.
I don't know about you.
I mean, they can be good. I don't hate them. I just don't like that they call them stouts.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. If you're gonna market it, if you're going to call it a stout, make it a stout. Don't market it as a stout and it being like how Wendy says an ale or whatever.
Nick, yeah, Nick, you're gonna be in timeout for like shilling these in a minute. Don't be like, oh, these are good.
So the
I mean, they're not-
the divas just brewed with Supernatural, and we did a white stout called Drop Dead Diva, and it was a really good beer. but it's still not a stout.
Your
So we're
problem
looking
is
at
that the name's stout and it's not a
yes.
stout.
So
Not the beer or the flavor.
we're looking at doing our next beer, and they're like, well, what flavor or what style should we do? I'm like, I'd really like an oatmeal stout or a Hefeweizen. And they're like, well, we just did a stout. I'm like, please stop.
How about a Detroit Draft Divas Dunkel for the alliteration?
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh,
So
hey,
Ken,
we'll make it, we'll make
why
it
not
happen. I'm
But-
pushing
but-
for the Hef because that's my favorite style.
Why not an alt beer, Ken?
well,
Yeah.
the
Should
the,
always
the
be an alt
letter
beer.
the letter A is not an alliteration of Detroit Draft Divas, Nick. I don't know if
Still
you
your
know
fa-
the
it's still your-
alphabet.
it's still your
Listen,
favorite beer, though.
I understand Harper Wood's education, but I want to show you guys because I got the cap off. Here's the cap. I want to show you guys the can now.
Didn't know
Good
Ron
job.
Simmons was here today.
This is the can now. This is
Whoa.
what, if you guys are not watching this, you can obviously go to facebook.com/Better on Draft. We are live on video every Friday night, including 7 p.m.
At least the
and
dragon still looks pretty.
At least the dragon still looks good. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
We're really on video tonight, that's for sure.
Without a doubt. I kind of feel like if you did the whole alliteration thing with the 4D, is Kuna going to have a problem with that? I feel like there might be a C and D that comes out some way.
Oh boy.
No, please no.
We just went.
I mean-
our nickname is Triple D, though.
Yeah, we just went there, huh?
Well, no,
We
she's
just went there.
she was just reading my report card when I was in high school.
Ken's like, this is a PG show. Now we're talking about triple D's.
D. That's called the trifecta. That's called getting grounded.
Come on now.
Is this like Rex and Effects on MTV or
Ooh.
is that where we're at right now?
now?
What was that
I
one?
have no idea how many people will come up to me and say, did you know triple is spelled wrong on your shirt?
Oh my god, it's because it's spelled with the EL and not the LE.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
That's now see that's a good name for a beer is the triple D with the EL and obviously being a Belgian triple. See now I saw Le Fin de Mun on the table, but I wanted to buy a bunch of like Michigan beers today, so I wound up going that. Now going into segment number 2, usually we do news, but we'll start with Rob for this kind of topic. So I'll go with, here is Rob with the beer topic.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah, that was not bad.
Awesome segue there, Ken.
Should I go on Fiverr and start doing that?
You should.
Yeah, it should.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know
I mean,
about
we
you
got-
guys. I hate the sound of my own voice, which is why I just torture the thousands of people who listen.
Yeah, nice. Well, I guess it's time to get into hot topics and get this shit in rolling. All right,
An old Hot Topic commercial like jingle or
got to throw one in there every now and then. But I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about was obviously the new normal that we have right now, and buying beer via curbside pickup or delivery services. And while these options are keeping these breweries afloat, the lack of in-house sales and tips keeping regulars from buying usually more than they normally would because they're sitting in there. Since the government has, at least for Michigan, has extended the stay-at-home order until April 13th, should breweries start sticking to? Should breweries, kind of count on sticking to the date and just prepare for April 14th and everything start opening? Or should there be a little bit more of a proactive approach and kind of think that date is going to move again? Because from what I'm seeing and from what I've seen from other states, obviously that date goes out further than April 13th. I've got a friend of mine that lives out in New Hampshire, and they've got the stay-at-home order until May 4th. So for all we know, considering we have so many cases here in Michigan, far more than what New Hampshire has, but of course we have a larger per capita, that we could be looking at going up Well, actually, no, they're a smaller state. They have a higher per capita.
the
I'm
the
getting
biggest
typically backwards.
the biggest issue, because a lot of states have a higher per capita, the biggest issue that we have within the state itself is
Yeah.
that we have a high amount of people, but we also do not have the issue that the states above us have, and that is a mass transit system. If you
Ugh,
look
right.
at Arizona, New York, New
San Fran.
Jersey, California, like
LA.
yeah, they have a huge mass transit capabilities, which allows for the spread to go through, whereas Michigan just doesn't. And we can go into a huge rabbit hole of that, which maybe it'll be a post 212 where I'll say who I hate the most. But when it comes to Michigan itself, like we don't have that, and we're also not testing as much as a lot of other states are.
I feel like you're testing more actually than most states are. You try to come get a test in Arizona, you can't unless you've been to China, Italy, or another country infected. You can't get a test no matter what you do.
I don't think it's necessarily the like where you've been or how hard it is to get a test, but if you look in, so I went to the state of Michigan, um, and those are cases. It doesn't say tests, so thank you CNN for failing me here.
Don't
Well,
go
I
to
mean,
CNN. Let's-
we do have a testing facility. Well, I guess a testing tent that is going to be setting up at the state fairgrounds, I believe, starting tomorrow.
Yep. Yep.
But the catch with that is that you have to have a doctor's note that tells them to test you for it. You can't just drive through and get the
It's
test
not
done.
on demand.
Right, it's not on demand. You have to have a doctor's note to get it done.
So
But they said that they're talking about doing something like 400 tests per day.
we have one. I live right up the road from one, but you have to call a nurse. You have to call a line first, so a nurse screens you for it, and then they screen you again when you go to it, and then if you pass, you'll get the test. So here it's really hard. We have, I think, 500 cases. I was just talking to someone about this. So we're not testing much. We have like 500 cases and like 15 deaths, but it's impossible to get a test to know what it's really at right now.
Yeah,
But-
I'd have to look, and I'll see if I can find it while we're kind of chatting. But
Mhm.
again, the same thing is that there's only so much we can do, and as long but the one thing we can do is obviously what we're doing right now. We're social distancing. We're doing
Yeah.
our podcast. We're creating content, and personally, and to not to kind of get on a soapbox, but I'm excited to see a lot of the art. And things that come out of this, because I think a lot of people who are given the opportunity to be able to just kind of sit down, create music, create art, create
That's true.
content. Like, I think there's a lot of good that will come out of this that we just aren't seeing. In regards to the date, whatever the date is for Michigan, April 14th or 13th or whatever, I feel like it's going to get pushed back. I think a lot of states are going to push it back. I feel like we're going, if we continue the way we are, I think if we push it hard and not, and this is going to sound terrible of me, but as hard as India is, where India is literally beating the shit out of people that are in the streets, where they're
South Africa just deployed their military to lock everyone down as of midnight tonight on Friday. So
So wait, that's like what, martial law, basically?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want martial law, especially because he's a terrible character in Tekken.
oh boy.
Yoshimitsu wins.
but jokes aside, like I feel like we just need we don't need martial law. We need people to make you feel like shit for being shit, and we also need like the guy who licked a bunch of cleaning products.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah, I think he got like a terrorist threat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he should.
he got charged with making a terrorist threat for doing
God.
that stuff.
Same thing happened
Yeah.
to a woman in Canada who purposely coughed on meat.
Yeah, and the store ended up having to throw away. It was something like $35,000 worth
Yes.
of groceries.
Oh,
It was like 30,
Jesus.
yeah, 35K, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But I mean, really, the thing I guess I'm just kind of pointing to is that, if we get pushed back, and it all intents and purposes look like we will get pushed back, I worry for the breweries and how long they're going to be able to endure what's going on, and who's going to come out of this. Who's like we mentioned earlier about drafting table. They just celebrated their 4th anniversary a day ago, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually go out there and celebrate that with them, because who knows if they make it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, who makes it is it's like we obviously we don't know what the logistics are and what their finances are, but it worries me about these breweries as far as what's going to make it out and what's not.
There's a lot of breweries whose sales force has been furloughed or laid off, depending on who you talk to. Because again, the big thing between furlough and layoff is legalities and legalese
Mhm.
for if you can claim unemployment. I that I just there's so many things that we are and I want to kind of bring it back a little bit because in 2008 2009 I worked for a bank and I went through the entire banking process. I got laid off because they wanted to move. I was able. They were able to move someone else to my position because they had been there longer. So I was gone
Mhm.
the second I left, and I hold no ill will to that company. I still bank with that company. I still have the same bank account number, and we're counting 13, 14 years now, which is pretty impressive. I would like to think. But here we are now. I'm in the restaurant industry, and this is happening, and this is hitting the restaurant industry hard. And I know very well that within my company, like, there will be layoffs, but we are doing the best that we can within our company to help the businesses that we rely on to purchase our stuff. So we have gone, and I never plug too much, but like we have gone through, and we're doing free digital ordering for any restaurant. We are doing free e-gift cards for any restaurant. We are doing curbside pickup for any restaurant. We're doing all these things for free for those restaurants. Oh, hold
Oh,
on,
what do you have
guys.
going
Yeah,
on
there's
there?
there's a
I
there's a
saw it in the
fight
background.
going.
Your
So-
cat's fighting.
Yep.
Cat fight.
I'm gonna turn off my cam. I'm gonna let you guys talk for a minute.
He's gonna go break up this fight right now. What is this picture? Oh my god! Ken, turn your camera back on. What's happening?
That
what
is
is
that is
Is
amazing.
that the Golden Jigger Award? Is that
That
one?
is-
It
that is-
probably is. So, what are you guys seeing out there? Because, like I mentioned, there's 2 breweries out here that have closed so far. Has anything in Michigan? Have you got any word yet? Has anything closed down up to this point?
I'm glued to social media. It's funny because now that I'm working from home, I just look at social media probably more than I probably should. And
I think everyone is.
yeah, I know. I have not seen anything, any indication of any of at least the Michigan breweries or even here in Metro Detroit. No one showing any signs of concern or being afraid that this is going to hurt them or not. Rob, Wendy, I don't know about what you guys are hearing, but I haven't seen nothing.
I know they think it's going to hurt them, but I haven't seen any that are saying they're going to shut down. They're all shutting down temporarily. Some of them are shutting down temporarily.
Mhm.
Like not even doing
Yeah.
carryouts or delivery or anything.
Right.
I feel like
some of them. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like we're gonna lose about 10% of our breweries by the end of the year.
There's a good chance. So, like the
Jeez,
ones
that's
that
that's almost 40.
you have about 400.
Pretty close to it.
It makes sense. So I feel like the ones that went out of business, I was talking to someone about this previously. They're the ones that already weren't financially stable and took the chance or took the opportunity, I should say, to close their doors because they went out within days of this going on. The problem is everyone, we started all these shutdowns, NBA and everything shut down, I think on the 11th, if I'm right. So we're like 16 days after that. What's going to happen if this goes to May? I know I read an article today that Whitmer was thinking the schools might not go back. I know in Arizona, we're pushed back to the 20th right now. You guys are to the 13th.
Well, I mean, the good thing about you guys is that you guys in Arizona are in trimesters, right?
That I don't know. My kids live in Michigan, so I don't know much about the schools. I just know they just pushed it back again to the 20th. We were school-wise, I believe, till the 6th.
There's no reason to try to take the kids back into school. I think we need a plan for online for the rest of the year. I think the hardest thing to deal with is that everything gets back to normal in say May, and now everyone's kids are home in May.
Yeah.
There's just so many if this then that's and what we can do and what we can't do. So
Well, not to turn this into anything political, but I'm pretty sure Whitmer's going to be making that announcement this week. I've heard a couple.
There
of
was an
rumors.
article today.
Yeah,
So
there's a couple rumors floating around that she's going to make some kind of announcement about the schools probably in the next week or so.
It's going to be on Monday.
She's been alluding to that.
I give her a lot of credit.
That for a couple weeks now.
I give her a lot of credit because she's been on top of this. I can tell you right now, Rob, I don't know how much time you spent out here from time to time. Our governor is way behind the 8 ball on this. In fact, today he didn't want to put in an order to, to have everyone locked down or whatever you guys are doing because we don't have enough cases here yet. So they want to wait until it gets higher before they make a decision. So,
hey, I wasn't being out there until Arpaio was out. Scared that fucker.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying is that your governor doesn't get the whole flatten the curve thing.
Yeah, he doesn't, and it's really sad. He's way behind everyone else, and there aren't tests here or there aren't cases here because we're not testing. So we're really behind. Just to give you a perspective of a really red state, we're just not testing anyone. They're like, oh, go on as normal. It took a long time to shut everything down, and then everyone's still going to bars, still going to restaurants. Like, dude, calm down, don't go out. And
like still isn't like I was gonna say like still isn't today.
No, it is now. But it took after most states were locking down. It took almost a week for them to do it here.
Oh my god.
So can I throw this out there real quick? Can I ask a question?
Even if we said no, you'd still do it.
Yeah, I know. But so let's look at all the breweries that are now. I'm going to call them the front line. Maybe not the healthcare worker front line, but the front line making hand sanitizer for the front line. Some of the breweries, the distilleries here, at least here in Metro Detroit and even in Arizona, back home at Japan. Do you think by doing that, puts them at risk of possibly shutting down for longer, if not permanently? Because what you're now taking to make your product, and seeing that there isn't much of that to go around potentially right now, because everyone's kind of needing alcohol right now to do their stuff. Do you think that could come back and bite them?
Maybe? I don't think so, because I kind of feel like right now with the places that are actually making the sanitizer, that they're getting more of the business. I mean, look at 2 James and how 2 James has been, making the sanitizers. And granted, I missed out on getting it today because they're only doing it from 12 to 3. I got there way too late.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it tomorrow too. But when you go there and you get this free bottle of sanitizer, it's like, you know what? I want to support these guys, and I may want to get a bottle of Black Widow. Now, granted, I don't really feel like paying $60 for a bottle of Black Widow, but at the same time, it's like I want them to continue to be there. It's like with Griffin Claw giving out sanitizers for every purchase that you make there.
Yeah.
That I want to be able to support them if I can. So I think for the people that see that there are all these locations that are putting out the sanitizer and helping the healthcare workers who can't get sanitizers, who can't get masks, that there's something out there where these people are out there to help, and we want to help not only the healthcare system, but we want to help these businesses as well, because they're providing the help that us as normal people can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So, hey, quick question, because you're saying all these people are making sanitizer. Do they have to be distillers to make it there?
No, I don't think they do. I don't think. I think the state of Michigan's laxed all their laws for starters, and I think Griffin Claw was like one of the very first ones to really come out there and say, hey, we're doing this. We are making hand sanitizer. And Griffin Claw doesn't distill, not that I'm aware of.
That's good to know. Out here, we only have 8.
was doing it before they even started promoting it.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So
they have to be a distillery here to do it. And we only have 8 of them out of the 105 that we have that can actually do it.
And also, just real quick, another shout out for another place that's doing it is Ellison. Because Ellison is making it as well.
and they got their brewing operation, they got their distilling operation. I'm sure everyone's kind of just juggling what they have, what they can use to make this stuff, and still put out product that they could sell, and try to keep them afloat as they get through this. So I'm sure it is very much a juggling game for these breweries and distilleries that are local and considered craft to get through this.
All right, so we have a few comments before we take our final break before our third and final segment. Shauna wants to know, what is Wendy drinking? It looks like a stout.
I am drinking a Shadow Realm Stout by Supernatural.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
Greg Feltner says maybe he figures it can't live in 140 degrees. I'm assuming he is referring to the governor of Arizona. Surprised humans want to be in that. Me too, Greg. And
Hey, when it's
Supposed to get to
80,
be
when it's 82,
140.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's 82 out there, it's the most comfortable 82 degrees you've ever felt in
Yeah.
your life.
Dry heat's amazing.
Oh my God.
And finally, John Rusinski of Dearborn Brewing saying they have to be distillers just to get the ABV high enough. So, I mean,
I was gonna say, because I thought the alcohol, the alcohol had to be like 90% in order to be able to.
It has to be higher
To-
than vodka, I know.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's yelling about.
Yep.
To be considered hand sanitizer, basically, is what
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought-
because people are saying that you should go to the store and buy Everclear or buy vodka, and the problem is that while it will say whatever proof, I mean it's got to be like 90% alcohol in order to be able to make it.
No.
And
And vodka's
not only
half of that.
have vodka's
I'm
half
pretty
of that,
sure
and then
Everclear in Michigan isn't that high.
yeah, and I mean on top of that, you need glycol, you need there's like a couple other things that you need in order to make sanitize. You just can't just spray Everclear on everything.
Yeah. I mean, just look at that one
You
piece
can
that
try.
Griffin Claw did. They told you what the ingredients were. So
all right, guys. Well, I'm going to tell you to put yourselves on mute. We're going to take one final break. We'll be right back with a third segment of Better on Draft Podcast. And we are going to be back here about a minute earlier than expected. Better on
Why are you
Draft.
catching everyone off guard, Ken?
Listen, Daniel. I told you 8:30. It's only like 5:30 there. So
Yeah, it's 5:29. What are we doing?
I wanted to come back. I was so excited. It is now a cat-free room with the
You
door
can't just hide
closed.
it.
So no cats for sure. There have been a lot of good stories, interesting stories, fun stories here, including I appreciate a lot of the government kind of being a little bit lax of the liquor laws, of people not being completely dumb about them. Delivering liquor, which we do already. Dan, you have Drizzly over there. Shipped can deliver booze and beer and wine itself. We've already had the law that you can deliver with any hot food. Now you can just deliver, period. But there is one thing that a lot of people are doing, and it was on the top of my page, and it's not anymore, so I need to find it. But Bush, you guys know Bush, the
Such a great beer.
Bush is actually offering 3 months of free beer to anyone who fosters a dog during the coronavirus.
Where do I sign up for this? I need another dog. Shit.
The Bush 41 or
Just
Bush
wanna
43?
foster the dog.
What was that?
Rob, no one else got that.
Oh, I figured it out. Wait, wasn't it Bush 40? Yeah, 43. You're right.
Yeah. Bush 41 or Bush 43? I mean, which one?
I feel
Obviously-
like we've gone through many presidents over the last 3 years.
Where's all W at? He'll help us out with beer.
I mean, it's definitely a WTF if it's Bush 41 because that's some amazing shit.
So if you go to the website, it's bush.com/foster a dog, which I am getting through right now. Typing in my fake birthday.
What's your fake birthday?
1/1 and then the year I was born.
I mean, isn't that
I'm
what
not gonna
everybody
lie.
does?
Oh
I
yeah.
just do, because it's always
2
set
years
to the
figure out I
day.
could do that.
The day, like today's day, I just switch it to the year I was born. So it'd be like $327.79. Like,
What
I
was
mean,
that?
when you go to a site that's asking for your birthday and it's like, are you 21? I mean, I thought that was what
Click
everybody
yes.
did, which just
Just
put
click
one
yes.
one. Yeah, you
Oh.
clicked a yes, but for the ones that actually ask for your birthday, did you put 1 and then whatever year?
No, I didn't do that. For years, I would put my actual birth date until someone said, just spin the dial.
Yeah, you're putting way too much effort into this.
So there's going to be up to 500 of them. They do not sponsor your adoption fees or foster fees. You get free Bush for 3 months, which is one $100 prepaid debit card.
So we can use this on other things. How do we scam this?
Wait, $100 in Bush a month? Isn't that like
no, $100 period.
$100 though is like 150 cases of.
I was gonna
Busch a
say that's
month.
still a pallet of Bush Light. So
I mean, if we're going off of the price of saying a dirty 30 is $15, you're getting, you know, six dirty 30s and a couple of bags of Ruffles.
who's got a forklift to move this into our houses? Because
Hey Dan, do they have deposit out there in Arizona?
no, we just throw bottles in the garbage. So,
Oh, then there you go. Then it's even more beer for
Wow.
you.
yeah.
Well, here we have to pay the deposit. We just don't get it back now.
Yeah,
Wait,
I don't
what?
we
Yeah,
go on, Nick.
so because of everything, they stopped all can returns.
Oh, so you pay the deposit and they just keep the money now? Like, oh,
Basically.
thanks.
I-
I just throw bottles in the garbage can. I'm like, all right, like no one cares.
I can't tell you the last time that I've actually returned a bottle, but now that I have like an actual recycling thing, like I just throw it all in recycling.
There you go.
I don't bother with bottle returns, but yeah, so $100 for 3 months, and you can apparently buy whatever you want. Because I guess because you can't give away beer. So
Here's your gift card.
yeah, here's your
And
gift card.
it doesn't sound like that you can't restrict somebody to actually buy Bush.
I mean, maybe they want Bush Light.
I mean, maybe they want hams. I mean,
Oh.
who knows what the-
Oh.
You could get 2 pallets of hams. Like, just back up the truck.
I mean, somebody could turn that the other way, and then they could get some Milwaukee Beast. Who knows what? I mean,
good
anything
Lord.
that. I mean, somebody would be like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to adopt a dog anyway, so I get $100 for Bush or Bush Light. Then we'll fuck that. I'm just gonna get me some Milwaukee's Best, if that, of course, is the beer that you hold on, beer that you want,
So
and be able to drink that.
So Rob, you'll remember this. I mixed Milwaukee's Best with KBS, so that's
Yes.
a great
The
thing. So you
the Kentucky
the
Beast Stout.
Beast. So you need Milwaukee's Best around. That's a
Hey,
good beer to
hey,
have.
Rob, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If I have a bottle of KBS, would you drink a Kentucky Beast Stout the next time we're back together?
Oh boy.
Nick is not happy with his drink. We'll get to that in a second.
No, don't worry about it. I didn't like it to begin with. I don't even know why I cracked it open. So anyway.
I would initially anything that has the breakfast out of the 15th state, I would think no.
What about doing it for the lulls?
You staying away from the Charlotte Street Brewing? Is that what you're doing?
I'm glad you caught on, Dan. I stay away from all things Charlotte Street.
You know,
Just for like full disclaimer for everybody else who's listening, that is just me. That is my opinion. That is not the opinion of Better on Draft, and I am not going to touch their stuff. That's just, with the stuff that has gone on with the brewery that I have not found acceptable, and I continue to not find acceptable. I'm not going to drink it.
Well, I am the opinion of Better on Draft, and I'm not drinking it either, even though I saw the Underground Mountain Brown, and I said no.
Yeah, it's.
I went and bought a Leroy Brown.
We have the espresso. We have the KBS espresso on tap here. I was like,
Yep.
stay away.
I haven't touched KBS espresso either. Let's
just like what Harry said to the Bruise Brothers, hashtag for the culture. I don't want to see them sink. I want them to fix. I want them to fix the problem, and if they can fix the problem, then that's great. But until that happens, Charlotte Street will continue to stay out of my refrigerator and off of my racks
That's
until
fair.
they fix the problem to my acceptability.
That's fair.
All right, let's go through real quick. What are we drinking for round number 3? Now that Rob kind of left and came back, Wendy is the top left. Hi, Wendy. What are you drinking?
I'm still on the Shadow Rum Stout, but I do have a caramel pretzel force field nut cup.
A what?
From Supernatural. Follow up with.
This is a PG show.
So their force field nut cup. Their nut cup is one of my favorite beers that they have there. It's just delicious.
The nut cup, Dan.
The caramel pretzel is a little bit sweeter than I normally would like.
The nut's a little sweeter.
It's a little bit sweeter, but
we're gonna keep going there.
Yeah, all right, so anyway,
Dan, you're over here. What's up, Dan? What are you drinking?
I'm still drinking the old Saint mix.
I mean, that's a high ABV.
Yeah, I'm kind of nursing this one. It's 5:38 here, so not fun.
All right, I'm pointing to you, Nick. What's up?
So I started in Alpha. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what did you crack open that we all saw?
All right, well, so I cracked open an Alpha King during the segment 2 from Three Floyds.
Okay.
Drinking that. So, and then I cracked open just now a Nightman Leaveth from Oddside, and I forgot how much. I forgot how much I was not a fan of this beer.
Is that the one you were complaining about?
Yeah, he gave.
I was complaining about that 3-year Hop Slam earlier.
Oh, did you drink it all or did you pour it?
Oh God, I poured it.
Boo.
Oh yeah, okay. I drank the 2.5 one, and then you guys are gonna criticize me for pouring the.
Listen, name one beer I've poured. Thank you, Rob.
None.
No, what are you drinking? Not one. But we all know I don't pour any beers.
Right.
We all know I do my best to drink as much after the show as I can.
Yeah.
Touche. Yes, I agree.
So right now, I City Club. All right. I cracked open one from Tups Brewing out in Texas. Their DDH IPA, which is showing up backwards, I think, on at least on my screen.
No, it looks good.
Oh, perfect. It is their Sour Peach, which is surprisingly is pretty damn good. It's like I'm just finding sours that I'm actually liking, and it's kind of annoying because I used to hate sours with a passion, and I think ever since we went to Winter Beer Fest and I made that little commitment where I had my 1 or 2 beers. I went to drafting table. I had Mean Vanilla Bean, and then I had another one of the stouts. And I said, okay, for the rest of the festival, I'm going to do nothing but sours. And there were some that I would find that I would like Metaform from Holmes, and there were some that I didn't like anything from frickin' Arclight because they were too sour, Speciation because they were too sour, and Brewery of Avant because some of those were too sour. I think Brewery of Avant actually makes one that I do like. I can't remember the name of it, but ever since then, it's like I'm finding sours that are not as sour and just give that hint that are perfect. And I'm just steadily finding these suckers, like actually from Ferndale Project. Their lemon meringue sour is ridiculous. I've never had anything like that, and it just keeps coming back, and I just keep going back for some of their stuff because it's just pretty damn good.
Going through the chat again, you can join us each and every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, facebook.com/betterondraft. Shauna Hartman says, the bottle return is so gross. Not being from Michigan originally, I struggled to do it. Most just go in the recycle. Yeah,
we don't clean our cans. They're nasty to touch.
No,
I'll have a big garbage bag and just want to take them to the store, but it's like you start grabbing those cans out and it's like, okay, I need something to clean my hands after I'm done because this was disgusting.
Wendy says
you rinse mine out before I put them in the can.
You wouldn't rinse them out. I just don't have that time. I just ain't got time for that. Like I'm just ready for.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
it takes me a little while
There
to
it
get
is.
them to the store, so I don't want them to start smelling. So I have to rinse them out before I put them in the can.
My problem is that for a while, especially prior to the giant craft beer boom, like it was hard to get to like the amount of bottles that I was drinking. Like, first of all, did I get it from Michigan or not? That was the first step. The second step is that all right, does this place like actually return it or not? Is another thing. And you can go like a place that's a little more lax, like Zaytuna Liquor, because as long as they sell it, which they sell most things, you can return it. But again, I can't go and
So King
return.
Cobra bottles.
Oh, for sure. But I wouldn't be able to do, say, a black and tan from Yingling.
True.
Makes
Um,
sense.
Yeah.
So Bill Carney actually is bringing us a little bit of knowledge. The unreturned bottle deposit money goes to the Natural Resources Trust Fund. So in the end, it goes to state parks. So whenever you don't return your bottle, that 10 cents goes to a state park. So I feel I should
And
claim
since
that on
it's
my
state
tax.
park right here.
So a little bit better then.
I'd almost feel better it going and just recycling and it going to the state park than taking the money. I mean, with how many cans we take back to the store, I mean, how much do you generally get out of it? Maybe $6, $10. I mean,
20
I
if you're lucky.
I
with-
mean,
with-
really,
with-
the only people that do it a lot is when you're doing like a fundraiser as a kid. Like I remember doing like a fundraiser as probably in my church or something like that, and trying to bring back, and you could only bring back $25 per person, and then you'd have to like
Yeah.
a bunch of
Oh.
people would have to go to the same Kroger, and then the
No. Every time I go to the grocery store, my grandma says, "Do you have the bottles to return?"
I think it's lost on this generation. Even Rob, I
And
think you and I are kind of.
90% of the time, I do not have them ready.
but you rinse them out.
I've already rinsed them out. They're just not always in the same bag.
No, you just put them in the machine, even if they're like 3/4 full. Like, oh, here's the.
Dan, what the hell?
No, am I the only one that used to do that?
They can
Oh, man.
Dick move.
That's
No.
horrible.
No.
I mean, Ken, Dan, you know
That's
from.
why it's disgusting to return bottles.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Ken,
that
Dan,
guy.
you know
Sorry.
from the frat house days that we would have cans just scattered all over the house.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the next day, when we go to clean the house, we would go in and pour all the full cans of beer, out. And then, so guess who would be rinsing them out because they didn't want the house to smell like crusty old
Would
beer.
that be
for
you?
3 weeks.
I was
that
gonna
would
say
be
it still smelled like crusty old beer.
Yeah.
I thought
have been there when it didn't. So.
I thought you were about to tell us you poured it into like a pitcher and made one of your pledges drink it.
Oh hell! Oh, dude, no.
That would've been good.
I did half
Whoa,
of that. Just
whoa.
poured it into the pitcher.
They're not
Whoa.
allowed to do that.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh.
Theta Tau would never do any
Yeah, Nick,
hazing.
that would never happen.
Well, all right. I've been 8 years removed from that frat, and they've changed a lot. Let me put.
I was gonna
miss
say,
those days.
hold on a second. I remember going to a party for the last party I went to was the Halloween party 2012.
Yeah, so I graduated in December of 2012. So that'd be.
I
2
think I
months.
was at that party too. It's like, what am I
You
doing
guys
here? I'm like
probably were.
34.
Me and Nick were dressed up as blind refs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was. So do you remember the Benny Halloween party? That was the same year.
Oh
With the
yeah.
blind- where I was taking her shit and walking into people, and they wanted to start a fight.
Oh wait, was that the one at the that VFW hall or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
They wanted to fight me because I kept walking into them.
Now, before we
Wow.
kind of, I know we kind of off tracked in regards to inside humor. Before we kind of finish for the evening, one of the interesting stats they went through, and that's according to Nielsen, is that Michigan beer sales went up 36% for the week ending March 14th. So 2 weeks ago, Michigan beer sales were up 33%. Ohio was at 38% up. Pennsylvania saw 33% up. That doesn't help when your numbers reach down, and in the industry of restaurants we're seeing anywhere from 70 to 80% drop of restaurants, as well as, so that means breweries, distilleries, restaurants, takeout, dine-in, etc. a lot of people are staying home cooking, so grocery stores are doing well. And one of the things, and I don't know if you saw it, and I'm curious what you guys have seen. I'm seeing a lot of craft beer gone from major chains, but not big beer. Like if you walk into a Kroger, like the Kroger over by me in Ypsilanti, like most of the craft beer is gone, but like packs upon packs of Budweiser and Bud Light. Are you guys seeing that? Have you guys been to the store at all in the last 2 weeks?
No.
I mean, I've seen it in a couple of the Myers. Like if you go to some of the Myers that are in Livonia area, that they are kind of running a little low. If you come to the Meyer that's here in Detroit by my house, that's just kind of one of the things that we still, as a majority African American city, does not partake in a lot of craft beer. So there's still a lot that's here at some of the Myers that's here at like I guess for those that are in the neighborhood, for those at 6 Mile and Grand River, or if you go to 8 Mile and Woodward, there's still a bit that's there. But yeah, hitting some of the stores that are out here, that the amount of inventory that's at these stores is, from what I'm seeing, is dropping. But it's just that but I mean, we see so much Bud and Bud Light and Coors that it's so mass produced that I kind of feel like with those you really can't tell, because they have their own dedicated
Right.
shelf space, and they're not they can't really take over anybody else's shelf space. I mean, I don't know if those are running out. I don't know if people are flocking to get those as much as obviously that they're doing with toilet paper, the fucking assholes that they are.
For real.
But I mean, people are going out there, and I'm definitely seeing a lot of the craft that is kind of disappearing a bit.
I can't say much because I purchased a bunch of toilet paper prior to the pandemic. Because I was out and I just hit reorder on the like 48 or 60 roll thing that I did on Amazon the last time I ordered toilet paper. So like I have offered it to people, but there's only so much I could do. I didn't go out and buy toilet paper because of the pandemic. I bought toilet paper prior to the pandemic and just had a bunch because I
Why
always
you hoarding, Ken?
listen,
I
Daniel.
I live with an
Hold on,
82-year-old
Daniel.
woman. We've always got any type of paper product you could possibly need. I'm also doing like click list at Kroger instead of going into the store. So I've only actually been into my local Aldi's when Kroger doesn't have the meats available.
Yeah,
at
I
click list.
did. We're
I just
doing
have to keep her safe.
yeah, because obviously you have your grandma. Like my girlfriend has like a kidney transplant, so there's a lot of autoimmune deficiencies that she has. So like her being able to go out and stuff like that, it's a lot harder for her. So I have to do it, but of course I can technically transmit it from Kroger back to her. So, being smart, being intelligent, that's why she told me to go buy everything I needed today for booze wise. And then tomorrow, like, we have a order from Kroger, and we're going to go to Kroger, we're going to buy it, we're going to disinfect it, and then we'll, go on with our lives. As what's, she's been very, very good at trying to make keto friendly dishes. For the entire time, and I feel like we're just gonna run out and start.
Square.
What's that? Bingo square. Yes, that's the free.
Square.
That's the free one.
It's a free spot.
So it'll be interesting, like in the coming weeks, based on what we can and can't get. Nick, you are just looking like you are going through hell drinking that beer.
No, I'm okay with the Alpha King.
Oh, you definitely
No.
had a look on your face for sure.
No, here. I'll give you the face. Hold on.
We're gonna get the face. So we've got. Oh, he likes it a little better this time. So we have No Rules Day getting delayed. We have World
yeah.
Expo of Beer getting delayed.
Yeah.
We have, Spring Beer
delayed
Fest
yet?
getting delayed. I'm assuming that's just gonna get canceled.
Yeah, it probably will.
Yeah.
They just need to add a Friday to the Detroit Festival again and make me happy.
Right?
One more year. One more year.
Saturday this year was
Exactly.
cold as all hell. But with No Rules Day is that's a whole proxy beer. That's a only at the brewery. Rob, you put it on your list. Are they doing anything with it?
We're still waiting to hear what they're going to do. The details haven't come out, but basically what they said is that they're going to move the sales online. So I don't know if that means that they're going to be online and you just have to come and pick it up. If they're going to ship it, I guess one of the things is that from what we've seen as far as No Rules Day, we were there last year. I've been there probably the 2 years prior to that, and seeing the festivities of everything that's going on, and that also includes beating your ass in Jumbo Jenga, which was awesome as hell, and I think that's still on video somewhere. But with that now being gone and that event being gone, um, I guess one of the things I'm kind of wondering is what would you want to see now that they don't have the event and everything's being online? Should it just be go pick it up? Should you allow proxies like Mike Superman Hammond to go out there and just pick up a U-Haul and just run through and get everybody's No Rules? Should they ship it? I mean,
Hey,
what?
no name.
There's a lot of options that are out there, but I guess what do you want to see from this? Because I mean, it's still a very popular beer that people are going to want. It's now, how do you get it now that you can't go?
It took me a second because one of the local groups on Facebook mentioned the 89 cents, and now I remembered why the 89 cents thing was a huge deal. Uh,
It
because
still wasn't too bad at all.
no, not at all.
No.
In regards to that, I mean, it's up to them. They've been able to distro it before. They can distro it now if they choose to. It's solely up to them. Maybe Dan wants some pairing over in Arizona.
Maybe. I don't know where to get it here. Probably.
No,
can't.
I want it. I want it out here.
No, ship it out to
Oh.
AZ. Never mind.
That is shipping.
I mean, they haven't even announced what the variants are going to be yet. And now they have to deal with obviously the pandemic that's going on. So,
I think their issue was that they were thinking of they weren't dealing with the pandemic, so they're like, oh, we don't have to announce the variants until 2 weeks before or a week before.
Yep. And then all of a sudden everything got pushed out to April 13th. And now it's, oh shit, this is getting too close. I think we need to make changes. And that's where we're seeing it now, is that they make the change to just get rid of the event altogether. So, I mean, it's still just, from what they've said on their Facebook page, everything is still a work in progress. They have to work out the logistics of how they're going to do the online sales. And I mean, for regardless of what happens, whether it be just going online and purchasing, or if you were even going there, it's still going to be a crazy time with everybody trying to get this beer, and there's going to be the people that are going to be upset saying that they couldn't get it, because it's going to be just like it's going to be like Old Nation. It's always a thing. It's like when Old Nation had the ticket sales for those special beers that it did last year, that people were getting upset that they couldn't get a hold of the beer and they couldn't get a hold of the tickets.
We mentioned it, but prior to going live today, is that no matter what, people are going to get upset, and it's just something you have to deal with.
Yeah.
We have a few people in the chat. Obviously, Dina's been listening this entire time, Rob. So thank her for us.
Hi, Dina. Love you.
She's not just listening on Facebook. She's listening from down the hallway too.
It's got the stereo sound going on.
So
she's in the house.
Bill Carney goes.
It's coming from in the house.
Bill Carney goes keto bingo, and Ryan Balicki says, "Hey guys from Saint Beer Shores." So he's taking a little victory lap after Copper Hop making it into the Final Four. I'm going to be honest with you guys, as we're kind of finishing the entire the Final Four. I don't see who's going to beat them now that Austin Brothers couldn't beat them.
Who, Copper Hop?
For Copper Hop, yeah, for sure.
You don't think Baffin will beat them? What about Odd Side? I feel like they might.
I mean, in regards to the amount of votes that have happened prior to this, I think whoever wins between Odd Side and Baffin, which I think will be a very big voting this week, because I don't think there'll be a huge vote between Copper Hop and Blake's. it's going to be hard to see who wins. Now, if you guys actually look at the camera,
They have to keep their votes up, though.
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Mhm.
And that's the thing we notice is that a lot of these breweries they get a lot more votes near the end. I am going to try one more time. I watched a video
You
of
watched a video.
this
Hey,
to
that's
make
what YouTube's
sure
for.
I was doing it correctly. So with that in mind, let's kind of go around the horn. What do you guys want to see in the next week for beer? Do you guys want to see brewers to start making lagers? Do you want to see people starting to buy gift cards? Like, what is your one wish for people leaving this show to do over the next week? We'll start.
I mean,
we'll start with Rob.
hell.
Stay in business. Like, honestly, what else can we ask for?
Yeah, I mean that's what I want them to do. But of course, in order for them to do that, it's going back to good old equivalent exchange. In order for them to stay in business, people have to be out there and they have to have the disposable income to go out there and buy the beers
That's a
and
good
buy
point.
and buy the stuff that's out there, because there's a lot of people that are out here that are hurting, that don't have the money to do that. And I mean, for those that are there, that can either get to the breweries or can have them delivered, then those services have been put out there so that people out there can get their favorite beers and get them home. As I see that Ken just spilled the damn beer.
Oh, I didn't see. Damn it.
I-
Ken, did you just cut your lip on that can? Or
It
what's going on?
overflowed. No, there's no cutting. I can't push it in, so it
Oh, that's
obviously didn't
You
get
didn't
cut.
cut it off. What's going on?
Daniel, I tried. I tried.
I know you did. I know you did. Oh,
No,
No,
that's
I would
just
like
it's
people
just.
to stay
so Rob-
home.
Oh, go ahead,
go
Wendy.
ahead, Wendy.
I would like people to stay home as much as they can, but when they are out, I would like them to support their local breweries that are still doing curbside, because that's how we're going to keep people in business. Buying the gift cards, buying their merchandise that we can online,
Mm-hmm.
and supporting them as much as we can when we're out for good reason.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
don't
and
just go out
support-
to get beer.
Right, and support the restaurants as well, because there are
Yes.
all of the bars that are out here as well that are supported by the breweries that they get their beer from.
Yes.
So for those restaurants that do carry out, get food from them. I mean, they're still making the food. They still make the food that you like. Order it. Go pick it up. Take it home.
Yep.
Total anecdotal. I went to get Thai food 2 days ago, and someone was in there ordering, because you can't eat in the restaurant here either. And the guy mentioned that they're really down because they're Asian, and this virus is Asian of origin, so
Jeez.
people don't want to order Asian food because that we're getting to a point where discriminating over food
Right.
because of where a virus started. So
Yeah,
ignore
let's
that and
stop that whole xenophobia and go get you some fucking stop the stupid shit. Get you some
Yeah.
Chinese food. Get you some Thai.
yeah,
This-
the Thai
this-
was
the-
great that I had.
Yeah.
yeah.
Go
just
get
not
some
good.
egg rolls. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Egg
come
roll
on.
sounds good right now.
It was good. Go get some because they're great.
Yeah.
But honestly, as we're talking about it, I'm worried about how this goes longer and longer. 2 weeks is fine. Most places can stand 2 weeks. How do we stand 5? How do we stand 6? How do we
Yeah,
stand
how do we get
8
the-
weeks?
How do we get to May?
Yeah, how do companies stay in business? How does a brewery stay in business when we get to May? Yeah, you have ordering right now, but like, for example, my company let 555 people go. 550. I keep adding that third 5. But how do you go when you're cutting 40% of a workforce out of big companies? How do they keep supporting that?
Shit.
It's a
Much
legitimate
less.
question.
Much less, how do you come back when it's time and you don't have the people to
Exactly.
do it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
And
tough.
the big thing too is that who's gonna want to eat out and go out after this whole thing? Because there's
it's tough.
Yeah.
Did you
dude,
get it?
I feel so bad because this beer is really good, so I'm gonna give a shout out to Mommy Bay Brewing.
Did you cut your finger?
I didn't cut my finger. No, all this brown stuff is
Got
not my
all over his
blood.
hands.
This is just a waste of beer. I am very very upset.
Oh no.
Like, I feel like a can opener would have been better. So,
Jeez.
I mean,
oh boy.
it's obviously worked. I did cut 2 open prior.
I was saying, we
This,
saw a good one when you posted on your Facebook page there, Ken, a couple days ago.
well, that was an empty can, so
Oh,
I mean, it's
Hmm.
defeating the purpose of why you're cutting open the top if you're not doing it. Now my hands are really fucking sticky, and it's like high school
Wash your
all over
hands.
again.
Sing happy birthday twice.
All
Sing
right.
the intro of Number of the Beast, and you're good.
Number of the beast.
Ooh.
I thought we just had to sing the entire live version of Inagata Devita.
Oh, that's it. That's what you have to
God.
do. All 28 minutes of it.
Don't forget the drum solo.
Right.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Better on Draft Podcast. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us in the chat. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's.
Wait, do I throw my line in here now? Don't drink and drive or you'll spill your beer?
Well, nobody's driving in the first place, Dan. Shelter in place. Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.